Hello, welcome to our art podcast. Producer Matt here, behind the camera, but in front of the camera and the other microphone is Deggy. Hello, Deggy.
Hiya, mate. You all right?
Yeah, our guests are in good hands.
Oh, I'd be worried.
Fantastic. I'm not worried. They don't look worried.
Don't be. It's all fun. Thank you for tuning in again for week 2 of me hosting our art podcast. I'm sat here with the lovely Mabube and Caroline from Dipact. How are you guys? You all right?
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Amazing. I just want to say thank you for coming into the studio today to have a chat. You've done some bits with us at 1853 before, but this is an opportunity for our audience to get more of an understanding what Dipact is, what Dipact do, what are your visions for the future, and just let's get started. Let's get into Dipact and let's have a natter about it. So where did the idea for the organisation start? And you're the founder yourself, aren't you, Mabube?
Yeah, I am So my name is Mahbube and I am the co-founder and CEO of Dipact. We established Dipact as a CIC in 2023. And it's actually kind of like a cafe model to run led by artists in order to make money. But at the same time, a place that artists could be seen, could be heard for who they are. And Dipact actually started as a collective. And the reason for sort of like existing goes back to 2016. That basically after I've got my status as a refugee, I've kind of realized that the artists who come from forced migration background, especially the ones that they have track record in their own countries, when they come to the UK because they went through the asylum process, they don't get recognized because of the experience. I was very young when I came here, so I wasn't really big in my own country. And I've met artists who are actually really big in their countries. I've met artists who win like international awards. They've been incredible, just with their wisdom and expertise, but actually because of the system not recognizing or have a plan for understanding their kind of like 10, 20, 30 years of work. So actually in 2016, we got together. We were like a group of artists from different practices that we wanted to make sure that the artists have the time to focus on the practice, even though they've had different jobs or been in different situations in the UK. And also talking about the challenges. So between 2016 to 2018, we've kind of like we've worked with different artists. We've had artist hubs. We've done like getting small grants to kind of like make it work. And so this is how we started. And since then, we've kind of like been get recognized internationally as one of the global solutions to refugee crisis in 2024, and also receiving different awards by Visa Foundation. We are the city as non-profit, and also being, one of the non-profits with their solution across Europe. So it kind of like grow and kind of showcase that artists need to be seen. Artists need to be basically showcase their work in the standard that they should be seen. And this is how we've kind of started and we've been going.
Amazing. It's from what you just said there, it's a really impactful thing that you're doing there. Artists, they need a space and sometimes help to be seen. And like you guys are trying to do that. I think that's great. Because sometimes like you just don't know where to go as an artist or something. You're saying there like refugees coming in and they're really well known in their own countries. They've built their careers and then you've got to start from scratch again somewhere else. And it's hard in a way, like, because I play in a band like in the UK where we do okay, but anywhere else no one knows who we are. So we're starting from scratch and you need someone or a collective like yourselves to back them up a little bit, put them on that platform, and just help them just flourish. I've been doing this role for a couple of weeks now at 1853 Studios and learning a little bit about what you guys do. I've noticed you've collaborated with us a few times with the exhibitions that we have on, and you have reaction evenings. Do you want to explain a little bit about those and like what goes into that?
When it comes to basically when we started to getting to know 1853 Studios from the start, we kind of realized that one of the core values of artists trying to find their ways was to spaces like studios that they need or places that they would understand they need the location. So this is where 1853 studios come, just into our attention. You manage to kind of like give affordable studios to artists. And so this is kind of like how we being connected to each other. I think it's really important. Sometimes we forgot to talk about partnership and collaborating together is about finding that common feeling that we kind of like share the same mission and values. And so what we did was kind of like a creative response. I think we kind of have artists who want to explore and share the practices. And one of the things that have been a bit missing was how artists respond to each other, or artists who want to learn more, how they respond to artists who kind of like do a bit better. They've done more exhibitions, so they have more experience. So we started to do basically creative responses, and I want to hand over to my colleague who can explain a bit more about it.
Yeah, well, I just guess in terms of my role within Dipact, it's about looking at those structures within the UK that I am very familiar with. But if you come here, and so many different countries have different ways of being in the arts and how that's funded, and imagine coming here and having to learn this whole new, absolutely convoluted system, and the language that we use is not accessible. And when that's not your first language, how difficult that can be to even try and access the money to produce your art that has been your career for 20 years, but then having to come here and learn a whole new system. So I guess my role sits within that, is trying to support artists to be able to access the money that they're entitled to apply for, so that they can make their work better. So one of the responses that we did earlier this year was with SBC Theatre. We had two of our artists who are Ukrainian, Carolina and Daria. They responded to the performance and held a workshop for participants that we work with. So it was an invite only, and they had responded to kind of their experiences of coming to the UK and the challenges that they felt. And we worked with a group of women on our Global Roots Cafe model, that they came and they experienced that. So it's bringing lots of different people together from different experience to have that shared experience together. I keep on saying experience a lot. But that creates a moment that is never going to exist ever again. Like, I think that's what's really important, is people from lots of different backgrounds coming together and having that same experience and learning together and reacting together, and we always have food. That's very important to us, is that we share a meal together. We can talk about things that are impacting us on the day-to-day, or things that are impacting us like on a kind of bigger level. And yeah, it's coming together, having conversations, telling stories from our backgrounds, and getting to know our area, the people that live here. Yeah, conversation's really important to us.
For sure. And there's quite a lot to like dissect from like everything you said there, going from moving over here, trying to apply for grants and stuff to be able to do your work. Like, that's an absolute pain as it is anyway. But like, especially like when you've moved to a totally new environment, and getting help to do that is absolutely key. Like, I personally struggle when it comes to grants and stuff. I usually don't go down that route. I'll find other ways of funding stuff. And that's just purely because, being neurodivergent, I struggle with that. Because everyone should have their right to be able to produce their work to their standard that they want to. And I do think, like, we all know the arts is a severely underfunded area. And there needs to be more eyes on that, because it seems like everybody will take creativity for free, but no one's willing to pay for it, especially with the boom in AI these days as well. That doesn't benefit anyone whatsoever. But then, like, going to the reactions, as you said, like, culture is so important in anything. I always find as well, like, when I'm abroad with band, like, say if I'm in France or in Spain or something, like, when I go to these towns where, like, for instance, there was in Spain once, there was this guy, when I was trying to check into this hotel, this really old Spanish guy, didn't speak any English at all. And we were just laughing with each other, having a nice time, just trying to get the check-in process. And it's bringing culture together. I never forget those moments because they're the stuff I look back on that I think are really important and crucial in life. They help you grow as a character. And with you saying there, you were bringing in the 2 actors to do workshops, and that responded to the theatre show that we had as well. That's an interesting perspective to put a spin on what was already there to then tie in and turn it into another art piece itself. I know we've got a session on this weekend, which is another reaction workshop. Can we talk a little bit more about that one that's coming up too?
So we've got a project called Global Roots Canvas. Global Roots Canvas is a part of our Global Roots program. So first we've had Global Roots Cafe, which was focused more on community, basically doing a pilot of a community cafe that would serve communities through their cultures, telling stories, and also the importance of the connection between your identity to food. And Global Roots Canvas is the creative artistic program that would support 5 artists from global background. So we've got Ukrainian artists, Iranian artists, Congolese artists, and Syrian artists to respond to, basically, it's about telling about your identity, where you belong, and especially people who their countries have been through conflicts, and they need to tell their story themselves. I think what's really important is that Global Roots Canvas is about your roots, your identity, and the way you would like to say it rather than being labeled, and do workshops around it with different communities. And we're going to have exhibitions here at 1853 Studio. So this Friday is actually the kickstart of the first workshop, and also another creative response that Mohrukh Nahai, who is a great painter, that's been responding to the incredible exhibition by Kim Habo. And basically the workshop is focusing on Kim's exhibition, but at the same time looking at Mohrukh's work, and we're going to do collage and definitely food. So creating a very creative environment that the community that we're bringing could experience art making, getting to know artists, and having questions and have food. And I think what's coming out of these workshops is actually the importance of having the voices on culture, identity, as what you said. This is really important, that we could really talk about what makes us who we are, our identity, our background. These are really important connections that we have. And when we get shared together, it creates a powerful environment that would allow voices to talk about what is actually working for them, what are the challenges. And art is a powerful way to really portray that. So with Global Roots Canvas, we are hoping that with the kind of like these voice of these incredible artists who they're leading on their workshops, which are going to be across Manchester and Greater Manchester, to talk about what they think as an artist, this identity and culture means to them, share it with other communities. So we're going to gather the voices and presenting in exhibitions.
So going through art, connecting with food, I take it there's a bigger picture in the future. Is there a plan to look at a permanent premises for you guys and essentially have a cool little art cafe where host exhibitions, workshops and stuff, and you can get a good bit of dinner as well while you're there?
Yes, definitely. We're working towards opening our own cafe, our own space. And the reason for that is, again, food is a very important part of our lives. And not only that, food gathers stories, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that the model that we want to go down is to try and help with that funding situation. So profits from the cafe can actually fund artists to create more work. And that's kind of that cyclical thing that, you know, we've got space that we don't need to pay a fortune to rent a room, because that's another barrier for artists, is, you know, getting into spaces and having space to create and having space to share. So that's the big dream, isn't it? Is to actually have somewhere of our own.
Having that place where everything's all contained under one roof, like as you're saying, that artists can come there, they can put applications in with you guys whilst they're getting fed, and then there's other activities going on there as well. Like everything is just in this one big pot of creativity under one roof. Is just going to be so beneficial to any community that, and I just hope that can come off sooner rather than later for you guys, because it's just such a fantastic idea. And I've not seen anything like that really before. Like, you go in these little independent cafes and they've got some work on the walls and stuff, but taking it up to the next level where it is essentially, I don't know, just being used as a working art studio, then you've got all the events on with it and stuff. It just kind of writes itself, I think.
I think the other aspect of it is working with community members as well. So like the Global Roots Cafe project, we're working with women from all over the world and learning about their culture and their food. And so the idea is that it's those community members who help to shape the menu. And we have thoughts on, you know, you get some art with your coffee, you know, and just having an experience that perhaps we don't have in Manchester. Maybe I could be wrong. There could be somewhere exactly the same that I don't know about.
No, it's important experience, because that's the takeaway. People won't forget that. If they go in, they get something unique. And like you're saying there, you get some art with your coffee. Like, that could be anything from a postcard to whatever, like what's going on that day. It's just something so unique. And I think it'd be a massive benefit to the community and to Manchester itself. No, it's amazing. I love it.
Thank you. We've done actually, you know, just so with different models, because we did pop-up cafes, and so with different models, for example, you could get like your drink or your food with a piece of poetry or a piece of artwork, or even it was a sketch. So it was really important that the actual like business model was built on the artists run the cafe and also the community get involved. Like, it's going to be a collaboration teamwork, but artist leading on it was about actually bringing that creative and special experience to what you would get connected to the food. For example, with the pilot of Global Roots Cafe, we wanted to make sure that also, for example, with the organization that we collaborated, to make sure that their voices really heard, their participation are there. And that's why shaping that menu was really unique, because everybody have a special stories. For example, somebody was talking about this menu that reminded of her grandmother, or for example, like from a very small thing that we've got avocados, and some of our members who were saying, look, in my country, when we were walking, coming out of school, we've just been picking avocados. And this is a very huge memory of someone that used to leave school, like picking up avocados, but actually is that sort of like connection to your roots, to your country, and the different dishes, that the different ways they were cooking with it. So that was really important and became one of the core values of the reason why we bring also food with our creative and artistic work.
It seems like there is a solid vision and plan to take that forward, but just looking at the like not so far future, 2026, we're already a quarter of the way into it. I don't know how that's happened already. I know you've got some interesting plans with us this year. I know you've got the gallery space booked out for a couple of weeks in September, is it?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about a little bit more for the idea for that and the rest of 2026?
This is the exhibition for Global Roots Canvas. So our 5 artists will be running workshops throughout this year to inspire anyone, actually. They're open workshops that anyone can book onto. So it could be people with an arts background already, or it could be somebody that's never tried. So we're still in the planning stages, but we know we're going to have some photography workshops, we're going to have some drawing workshops. We're really exciting to see who comes along and what they create, because our artists will be responding to what our participants make to make some things for the exhibition, but also the participants' work will be included in the exhibition as well. So we've got 2 weeks here to show the work, and it's also going to be shown at Bridge 5 Mill as well. Yeah. So that's our big plan.
Yeah, it's just a nice, really big collaborative effort then, really, with that. There's a lot of creativity that's going to be going on in our gallery. So I'd just say keep an eye on all the social platforms and stuff, because that'll be announced in due course.
Deggy, can I ask a question, please?
Of course you can.
Can I ask a political question, please? Because you're preaching to the converted here. Like we understand the value of it. I was at the Ripples performance and one of the workshops afterwards. So I really get it. I've done work with SBC Theatre and the work that they do with refugees and things. I have friends who are refugees and immigrants to the country, and food plays an important part in those relationships. And so, you're preaching to the converted. What worries me, and I wonder if it worries you, and if this is part of your the reason why you need to be self-sustaining, because it's difficult. I mean, there's a potential that we might get a government that is very, very anti-refugee, anti-immigration. Is not likely to have much inclination to spend much on the arts. I wouldn't imagine either. He cut taxes and things like that. Is your model based on that self-sufficiency idea, so that you don't have to rely on the worst case scenario happening with that, and will you be able to survive in what you do, and organisations like you? What kind of an impact will that have on you and organisations like you in future?
Yeah, definitely. So actually, from looking, because I've been working in the sector, arts and cultural sector, for over 15 years, and definitely proper funding for working with people from forced migration background have always been difficult anyway. And also coming with those sort of like politics around migration. I think this is why we've kind of thinking about a social enterprise model that would earn money for the community. So we've been looking at different ways that artists and the communities can make money, that this money would feed in back for them, and creating more jobs. I think this is one of the reasons that from 2021 I've started the route to become a creative entrepreneur, and kind of like understand more about business, money, and sort of like the different ways of money making that would benefit the community. And what we lack in the UK, which is comparing to countries like, for example, if you look at the models in Germany, or if you look at the models in America that I had researched, we are actually, just having lack of that sort of like understanding the money making aspect of social enterprise. So it was also massively difficult for me, just to talking about the fact that when you come to the kind of like the business aspect, it's not always a dragon's den situation, because the community is going to be benefit from it. And that's why we want to become a social enterprise. We've also established a new initiative called DigiGem, which is our digital platform. And that initiative is kind of like feeding to create a more platform for artists to get opportunities, being more seen on basically on online, and also within the commercial sector. So we could be more visible also, and talking about social impact that need to happen, because no government can deny the social impact and the importance of it. And I think we have the duty to be the ones to keep talking about it and showcase that not only these are artists and communities, but also they are potential leaders for the future. So this is basically the route that we're going, and we definitely need to think about to self-sustain. Yeah.
This is a conversation you and I have had, Deggy, about artists in general and art in general, and not relying on handouts, and finding ways to make money and be sustainable and put a value on what you do. And I think the great thing with where you meet with food and art is, like you were saying, with these are things like football. Me and Deggy both into our football, but there's certain languages that don't require language, and art and food, football, things like that. There are certain things that resonate with people, where they bring down barriers and they bring people together. And you've got two of them right there, two really important ones. So it's a really great idea that you've got, and it's coming across really, really, really well. And hopefully people will get involved, and you'll get your cafe. And I can see it. It paints a really, no pun intended, it paints a really great picture in the mind.
I've also want to mention about the British multiculturalism. We have like the powerful multiculturalism in the UK that built Britain, and that sort of like different cultures, different people that make this country like being Great Britain. Like for me, is when I came to this country, one of the things that was very important for me to kind of know that I am so lucky that I can just have, just meet with my Indian friend and eat Pakistani food, and my Congolese friend talk about the culture. This is, incredible luck that we've got all these global cultures together. So I think, and for me, I always kind of like think about the fact that no politics can deny that, because cultures is always winning. So it's all about understanding that really we need to listen to the voice of people, the culture and the background. And the people when you look at what's working with communities, they come up with solutions. And I've always been asked about what is the creative solution, for example, in the entrepreneurial world. Within creative solution, it's always stays inside of people, the community. So we have to look for them in that sort of like environment. So this is what we also would look forward, because we are an organization that we keep learning, and we want to focus on that. We need to keep learning and listening. So so hopefully we would definitely open that cafe very soon. That's the dream.
I guess I just want to add, it's about learning and listening and taking action. So I think a lot of kind of community-led projects are lip service. We ask people a lot of questions. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What would your dream be? But then nothing happens. And I think our community members can be quite dejected with that, and they're almost sick of, being invited into these spaces where they're mined for information and then nothing happens. So I think we want to make sure that we are, taking action on the things that our participants tell us, putting it into our next funding application to make sure that actually they can see. And that's how you build trust with people, is that you can tell me that you want something and I can make that happen. Yeah. Because otherwise, what's the point?
No, totally. I can definitely relate to that. And I think I brought this point up in the last podcast. Like with me, I always say I'd rather go down in a ball of flames and say I tried than what if. And I do think there are two types of people here. There's people that'll there's dreamers and doers. And you guys are definitely doers with what you're doing there. You go and you're getting the feedback, you're putting it into what you want to do next, and you're trying to just get it right and provide the best service you can with it. And it's one of them, as long as you just stay on this path with what you're doing, you're 10 years in already, near enough, and it's just, you're doing fantastic things and it's only going to grow. So
thank you.
I hope so.
No, it will do. I just want to say a massive thank you for coming down today. I look forward to seeing what you guys are going to do on Friday, and then what the rest of the year brings for us too. There's going to be a lot of exciting creativity in here, so I look forward to it.
Speaking of which, Dipact, where do we find you? How do we get in touch? How do we come to your events, etc.?
So we've got a very active Instagram, which is Dipact, dipact.mcr, that we can be found, and also just simply dipact.co.uk is our website. So you can get most of the update information from our Instagram at the moment.
Amazing.
And we're going to put that information in our show notes, aren't we, Deg?
We are going to. They'll be in there, so everyone will be able to find you there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have you got anything else you'd like to add before we clock off? Have we missed anything?
No, I think
thank you so much.
Brill. Wrap it up. Yeah, this is where you have to say something cool to end the podcast.
So now, again, I've got to say something cool to end the podcast. I don't know how I go with this. You probably put me on the spot there, Matt.
Yeah, well, last week you quoted Ali G.
I did quote Ali G by saying keep it real.
So is there somebody else that you could quote, do you think?
Marge Simpson.
Oh, there we go.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Oh.